Hey friends, welcome back to Rita Talks. I'm Rita, and on this YouTube channel, I just share some of the thoughts, ideas that I've been thinking about, some of the things that have been going on in my life. And in today's video, I actually want to talk about a topic that I've encountered today while I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience episode with Naval Ravikant. And I think this was a very, very cool episode. I think basically today I don't think I had the time to listen to all of it. But basically, like, there was this one idea that stood out that I thought was very interesting. And it was basically Naval's perspective on AI and AGI. And basically, he talks about the fact that we are nowhere, like, he thinks that we are nowhere near general AI or AGI, and not even in our lifetime, according to him. And basically, he just talks about the fact that it's a topic that's overblown and falls within the Cassandra complex, which I don't know what that means, but basically I think he was explaining it a bit more, that basically it's this idea that after us there will be the end of the world, and basically that since our world is becoming more and more secular, we're looking for some sort of meaning, or like some sort of, I don't know, North Star. And basically, like, that's the reason that we're putting so much emphasis on this AI, AGI kind of stuff, which I thought was very interesting, especially because I really respect his thinking. And like, this is not something that I've encountered, I think, anywhere else. A lot of the people that I read from are pretty bullish on AI, AGI, all of that kind of stuff. Ray Kurzweil, Peter Diamandis, Elon Musk, all of these kind of people are pretty bullish on AI and AGI. And it's very interesting to see a different perspective, especially from someone whose thinking I respect a lot. And so basically, like, I don't know whether he's right or the other guys are right, but I like the fact that he's voicing his opinion, and that will push me to dig further into this. And also, like, this kind of makes me optimistic, because at some point, like, just learning about AI and all of this kind of stuff, I just started to get super scared. Like, I was feeling like the world is moving way too fast. How can I keep up? Etc. And this kind of gives me this peace of mind that, okay, even though the world feels like it's moving too fast, like, there is still stuff to do here. You can still contribute, and basically, in some proportions, like in some aspects, it's overblown. So yeah, that kind of gives me hope that, okay, I'm not too late about this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's basically like this paradox of feeling that you're always behind, even when you're pretty early on. So that's something that I've been feeling, especially with this kind of stuff relating to AI, etc., because it's definitely like one of my favorite topics ever to talk about and to learn about and to explore, especially the mathematical part of it. It's like genuinely something that I love so much, which is why I tried about 1 year ago to change my role from software development engineer to applied scientist, so to machine learning applied scientist. And yeah, I've kind of been missing that. So yeah, I mean, I will see in this team what we can work with, how we can make it happen. But I think for now, the focus for me is just to kind of ramp up on the project, earn trust with the team, and slowly get an assessment of the situation, of how things work, and how I can contribute, and how I can bring my own ideas, my own stuff, in a way that is aligned with the team's goals and the things that the team is working on. So, so yeah, that just made me like listening to this today made me actually quite optimistic about this whole AI thing, and like maybe even contributing a teeny tiny bit to it. So yeah, other than that, like also there were like some people who shared some macroeconomics analysis of AI, and basically saying that like actually aligning with whatever Naval was saying about the fact that it's way blown out of proportion, and the impact is not going to be nearly as big as it's been advertised. And so some of the papers that address this is, for example, like this paper that one of the managers shared in one of our teams, like our org/Slack channels, and basically, like this paper, or like I don't know, yeah, it is a paper, I guess, called "The Simple Macroeconomics of AI." From MIT, and it's dated from the 12th of May 2024, so not that long ago. And I haven't had the chance to go in depth into it, but it's definitely something that I would love to like an aspect that I would love to learn more about, because I don't know to which extent they take into account like all of the possibilities of AI and the compounding effect that is actually behind all of these crazy predictions that Ray Kurzweil is making, etc. So that will be very, very interesting to read. And basically, in the same thread that, like, when that manager shared this paper, someone else also shared another paper, or basically like report generated by Goldman Sachs. And basically the name of this report is Gen AI, Too Much Spend on Too Little Benefit, which would be also interesting to read. Because I think with any kind of technology, there's always like any technology that's gonna stay for the long term. Over the short term, there is bubbles and it will get overhyped, which is what happened in the dot-com bubble, I think in the early 2000s. Basically, the dot-com bubble burst, and that caused a lot of problems, I guess. But still, we still did move towards that area. And I think that's what's happening right now in AI, is that basically it's kind of becoming a bubble which will eventually burst. But that does not take away from the long-term trajectory that it's sure to take. It's just that it's not going to happen maybe as fast as people are claiming it's going to happen. And that's what's basically gonna cause the bubble to somewhat burst. So that's what I think. Like that's, I guess, what these papers are starting to kind of acknowledge. Like maybe they're acknowledging the fact that over the short term, maybe 1 to 2 years, it's not gonna give as high rewards as people are expecting, but that does not mean that over a long enough period it's not completely gonna like have a completely transformative effect on the world. So that's what I'm guessing is happening, and that's probably what these people are talking about. But it's like, Rita, how do you know that this is what probably these people are talking about without reading these papers? And you're absolutely right. I have not read them, and I will get to reading them. It's just maybe like what came to mind for me when I heard about this kind of not so bullish perspectives on AI and on the intelligence of AI, etc. Or like basically the return on investment on these kind of things. So yeah, I hope that made sense. I hope this was somewhat helpful. So yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in today. You can click here to watch my previous video on this channel, that's the one right before this one, or you can click here to watch my latest video on the channel overall. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, night, whichever time of day it is where you are right now. Bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye!